Chapter 1. The Beginning of the End. He never imagined the day would come when the woman he loved would become a stranger. They had built their world together, shared dreams, laughter, and quiet nights. But something had changed. It started subtly, almost unnoticed, but the feeling grew heavier with each passing day. At first, it was the little things. The late-night calls she said were work-related. The way she guarded her phone like a secret treasure, always turning the screen away when he approached. And the scent, an unfamiliar perfume lingering on her skin after she returned from meetings he wasn't invited to. One evening, he caught the faint trace of that scent again. It was a floral aroma, sharp and foreign, and it clung stubbornly to the nape of her neck. His heart clenched in silent agony. He wanted to believe it was nothing, just a coincidence, but a gnawing suspicion settled deep inside. He began paying closer attention, observing her movements with a cautious eye. When she left the house claiming to run errands, he noted the irregularities, the longer absences, and the hushed phone conversations behind closed doors. His mind raced, questioning every smile, every word exchanged between them. The moment he cracked her phone screen to access her messages was both devastating and inevitable. He found texts drenched with affection, but not meant for him. Words like, "I miss you," "I can't wait to see you again," and "You're the one I want." Each phrase was a dagger twisting painfully in his chest. His world blurred. The woman who once vowed loyalty had become a stranger bearing secrets. He felt betrayed, yet numb, caught between anger and disbelief. Memories of their shared moments played in his mind, now stained with doubt. Nights became restless. Sleep evaded him as he wrestled with his thoughts. Could their years together be erased by someone else's hands? Was their love nothing but a fragile illusion? He knew he needed answers, proof that would confirm his worst fears and give him the courage to face reality. Quietly, he gathered evidence, screenshots of her messages, recordings of conversations, small details that pieced together the cruel truth. Each discovery cut deeper, but it also steeled him. The pain was sharp, but clarity was sharper. He realized this was not the end of his story, but the beginning of a new, darker chapter. He stood alone in the silence of their home, feeling the weight of a love broken and the uncertain path ahead. Chapter 2. Revenge and Control. The pain of betrayal twisted inside him like a cold fire. He refused to be the broken man she left behind. Instead, he chose to regain control, to turn the tide in his favor. His first move was simple but decisive. He went to the bank and froze their joint accounts. Without hesitation, he blocked her access to their money, shutting the door on any easy escape. When she confronted him, tears streaming down her face, begging and pleading, he only felt a calm resolve. This was necessary. She had to feel the consequences. For days, he watched her struggle with the loss of control. Calls unanswered, expenses declined, frustration building behind her eyes. It was justice, harsh but fair. And it gave him a strange peace, knowing he had the upper hand now. But revenge alone wasn't enough. He wanted her lover to understand the cost of his actions. Anonymously, he sent the evidence, screenshots, voice messages, dates, times, to the man's workplace. The man, once respected and relied upon, was suddenly the subject of gossip and suspicion. His projects stalled, his reputation shattered. The fallout was swift and brutal. The town whispered. Doors closed. Friends turned away. Through it all, the hero kept his distance, hiding behind a mask of quiet strength. But inside, a storm raged, a mixture of satisfaction and emptiness. Nights became easier to bear. Sleep returned, a fragile friend once more. His thoughts started to wander from revenge toward the possibility of a future. He realized that what had once defined him, his relationship, His home was gone, and with it, a part of his old self died too. But something new was stirring beneath the ashes, a faint hope, a spark of freedom. Revenge had given him back control of his life, but it was only the beginning. Chapter 3: Recovery and a New Life. The days after revenge were strangely quiet. The storm inside him had calmed, but the emptiness remained. He stood at a crossroads, to be swallowed by pain or to rise from it. Selling the house was his final act of letting go. That house, once filled with laughter and dreams, now echoed with memories of betrayal. The walls that witnessed their love now seemed to close in like a prison. With a heavy heart, he signed the papers, watching the place slip away like a fading shadow. Moving to a small apartment in a different part of the city, he sought a fresh start. The familiar streets were gone, replaced by new sights and sounds that stirred something long dormant inside him. He began to rebuild, not just his surroundings, but himself. Mornings were no longer filled with dread, but with quiet determination. He found comfort in simple routines, brewing coffee, reading books left untouched, taking long walks through the park. Therapy helped him unravel the tangled web of emotions. He learned to confront his pain without running from it. Each session peeled back layers of grief, anger, and confusion, revealing a man ready to heal. Friends reached out cautiously, offering support. At first, he kept them at arm's length, afraid to let anyone see his scars. But slowly, he allowed himself to trust again, sharing pieces of his story and finding strength in connection. He rediscovered old passions, painting, music, writing, outlets for emotions too complex for words. Creating became a balm for his soul, transforming hurt into something beautiful. Love was no longer a shadow lurking behind every smile. He opened his heart cautiously, learning to accept kindness without fear. The pain of the past never fully disappeared, but it became part of his story, not the whole. Each day was a step forward, a victory over despair. He realized that true strength wasn't in revenge or control, but in forgiveness of her, of himself, and of the life that had changed forever. And in that forgiveness, he found freedom. The future stretched ahead, uncertain, but full of promise. He was no longer defined by the betrayal, but by his courage to move beyond it. He was ready to live again.
Betrayal cuts deep. Silence breaks the family. Subscribe. Don't face the dark alone.